this is a censor sheet that bites the wall at all times. The current situation in Thailand is utter chaos. I previously mentioned that there was news of clashes between Thailand and Cambodia. However, due to several incidents triggered by that clash, Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand is now facing the risk of being ousted. There are even rumors that the military might stage a coup. Today, let's focus on this topic. Let's take a look right away. First, let's find out exactly what happened. There was a brief clash between Cambodia and Thailand. On May 28, 2025, there was a clash in the disputed border area between Ubon Ratchathani province in northeastern Thailand and Preah Vihear province in Cambodia. As a result, one Cambodian soldier was killed. This incident heightened tensions between Thailand and Cambodia. It seemed like they were having good talks, but tensions gradually increased as both sides closed their borders and imposed embargoes on certain items. In that situation, on June 15, 2025, a phone call threw Thailand into chaos. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and Cambodia's de facto leader, former Prime Minister Hun Sen, had a private phone call. Honestly, the phone call itself wasn't a big issue since it could have been made to ease the current conflict. However, the content of that call was truly shocking. The first phone call began with Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn calling former Prime Minister Hun Sen uncle. Honestly, this part is also hard to understand. Of course, the Shinawatra family of Thailand and Hun Sen of Cambodia do have a very close relationship. However, even so, using such a term of address in the midst of an ongoing conflict is inappropriate. But if this was the only issue, I wouldn't have even made a video about it. Former Prime Minister Hun Sen and Prime Minister Paetongtarn had a phone call that lasted 17 minutes and 6 seconds, during which they also brought up the issue of the conflict. But Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand talked behind the back of her close associate, Lieutenant General Phat Kang, the commander of the 2nd Thai Army, who is in charge of the Cambodian border area. During the call, Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand said that the 2nd Army commander just wants to look cool. She said, "I hope you don't get upset by what our opposition figures like the 2nd Army commander say. That's not our intention." She talked behind her own country's military to the leader of another country. The problem is that former Prime Minister Hun Sen shared the 27-minute and 6-second call with about 80 Cambodian politicians, and one of them leaked part of the call, which is how it became public. As a result, Thailand was turned upside down, and public sentiment shifted from Cambodia to Prime Minister Paetongtarn. Prime Minister Paetongtarn quickly moved to contain the situation. She explained that the phone call was just a negotiation tactic and said she would not have any more personal calls with Chairman Hun Sen to avoid misunderstandings. However, the political backlash was overwhelming. Currently, Prime Minister Paetongtarn has formed a coalition government. However, the Provocations party, which is the 2nd largest party in the coalition, has announced its withdrawal from the coalition. Of course, even if the Provocations party withdraws, the coalition still maintains a majority, but there is a strong possibility that other parties in the coalition may also withdraw. Right now, the opposition is strongly calling for the dissolution of parliament and the resignation of Prime Minister Paetongtarn. In the Senate, which is dominated by conservatives, there have even been petitions to the Constitutional Court and the National Anti-Corruption Commission to impeach the Prime Minister. The decision on the impeachment petition will be made on July 1. If the Constitutional Court decides to begin impeachment proceedings, Prime Minister Paetongtarn may be suspended from her duties until the proceedings are over. And the Provocations party, which withdrew from the coalition, is planning to submit a no-confidence motion on July 3rd. If a majority of the lawmakers agree, the no-confidence motion will pass. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the coalition government led by the Thai party, with Paetongtarn as its leader, currently holds a majority in the House, so it's unclear whether the motion will actually pass. However, there are still voices of criticism within the ruling party. We can't rule out the possibility of dissenting votes. Also, since some people have criticized the military itself and directed that criticism toward the real power holders in other countries, there are even talks that the Thai military could stage a coup. Thailand is a country where coups happen very frequently. From 1932 to the last coup in 2014, there have been as many as 19 military coups. There have been a lot of coups, and since the military has been provoked this time, there is also a possibility of another coup. Even the local media pointed out that there were precedents where the government was overthrown by coups in 2006 and 2014, and they have warned that the current situation is similar to those times. Currently, the approval rating of Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn has dropped below 10%. According to a survey by the National Institute of Development Administration of Thailand, Prime Minister Paetongtarn's approval rating plummeted from 30.9% in March to 9.2% in June. The approval rating of Natapol Rongpan Yaod, the leader of the main opposition party, the People's Party, is 31.5%, which is higher than that. Also, the approval rating of the ruling Thai party, which was 28.1% in March, has now plummeted to 11.5%. If the current situation continues, it is expected that Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand will inevitably lose power. In that situation, Cambodia seems to be using this as an opportunity to put pressure on Thailand. Former Prime Minister Hun Sen even brought up the issue of lèse-majesté, which is considered a sensitive topic in Thailand, and began to increase the pressure on Thailand, specifically on Prime Minister Paetongtarn. Former Prime Minister Hun Sen began to increase the pressure by claiming that Prime Minister Paetongtarn's insult to the deputy commander was the same as insulting the King of Thailand, who appointed him. He then went on to say that former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who is Prime Minister Paetongtarn's father, had also made remarks insulting the King of Thailand and even threatened to reveal sensitive conversations. In Thailand, insulting the royal family is a serious crime that can be punished by up to 15 years in prison. Among the Thai people, criticizing the royal family is unthinkable, so it seems that Cambodia is using this as leverage to further increase pressure on Thailand. The Thai government quickly recognized the seriousness of the situation. The leak of the phone conversation of former Prime Minister Hun Sen was not seen as a simple diplomatic mistake, but rather as a deliberate political maneuver, and this perception spread throughout the upper levels of the government. In response, the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs immediately issued a statement. Chairman Hun Sen's remarks are a clear interference in internal affairs and an act that violates international law. In particular, the statement said that the political intention to benefit certain political forces within Thailand was blatantly revealed. This statement contained an unprecedentedly strong tone, even within diplomatic language. The reason for putting words like interference in internal affairs and violation of international law at the forefront was because it was determined that this issue could no longer be dismissed as a misunderstanding between friendly nations. However, Hun Sen, the former prime minister, was undeterred by this. On the contrary, he continued to make remarks that further provoked the entire nation of Thailand. It didn't just end with the simple leak of a phone call. He escalated the situation by publicly raising issues with the Thai prime minister's private remarks and even bringing up the lèse-majesté law. These external provocations acted as a catalyst, completely shaking up the Thai political landscape, which was already seriously unstable. Currently, there are a lot of anti-government protests taking place in Thailand. The scale was about 20,000 people, which was the largest since 2023. People started saying things like the Prime Minister sold the country to Cambodia and calling for an end to the corrupt regime. Especially, not only in Bangkok, but also in major cities across Thailand, sporadic protests continued to break out. In the end, it can be said that former Prime Minister Hun Sen's comment triggered a political storm that went beyond a simple diplomatic controversy, mixing together Thailand's sensitive political structure, the roles of the military and the royal family, and the public's dissatisfaction. This situation in Thailand clearly shows just how dangerous a single remark from Cambodia's seasoned politician Chairman Hun Sen can be, and how the privatization of diplomacy and emotional approaches can cause major repercussions. Currently, Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand is making every effort to manage the situation. First, she is trying to calm the enraged military. She even visited and spoke directly with Phat Khang, the deputy commander of the Thai military, who was the subject of the criticism. She also revised major policies, such as postponing the legalization of casinos. She is showing efforts to ease national tensions by introducing policies that the opposition party usually supports. However, despite these efforts, her approval rating is not rebounding. As a result, Thailand is also showing signs of taking a tougher stance. Currently, Thailand and Cambodia have completely closed all border checkpoints. The Thai military has announced that they will only allow limited passage for certain humanitarian purposes, such as transporting emergency patients, student commutes, and purchasing daily necessities, but all tourism, trade, and general transportation will be completely suspended. All land routes between Thailand and Cambodia that connect the two countries have been closed. The Thai military stated in a declaration that actions by the Cambodian military, such as altering the terrain, symbolic protests, and illegal patrols, constitute a violation of sovereignty, and explained that this was an unavoidable decision to maintain public stability and border order. However, some are saying that the authorities might be turning their attention outward to distract from internal issues. Currently, there's analysis suggesting that Prime Minister Paetongtarn of Thailand has few options to overcome the unstable situation in the country, and may be intentionally escalating the dispute between Thailand and Cambodia to break through the national crisis. Given the current situation, Prime Minister Paetongtarn is highly likely to face the risk of losing power due to the impeachment petition on July 1 SISTI and the no-confidence vote on July 3rd. This means that the political crisis is deepening. Above all, there's a strong possibility that the Thai military could stage a coup, so there's a real chance that the coups that happened in 2006 and 2014 could be repeated in 2025, and the relationship between Thailand and Cambodia is likely to go downhill. First of all, the Thai military itself is insisting on taking a hardline stance against Cambodia. If the military takes control of the political sphere again in the future, they will likely impose quite severe sanctions on Cambodia. In this process, Cambodia won't just stand by, so it seems the relationship will deteriorate. However, since Thailand is quite powerful, it seems likely to deal a significant blow to Cambodia's economy. Because the regions of Cambodia bordering Thailand tend to rely on Thailand, it's highly likely that the economies of those areas could be pushed to the brink of collapse. To resolve the current situation, it seems that Thailand's political issues need to be addressed, and Association of Southeast Asian Nations needs to intervene, but it doesn't look like it will be easy. What do you think about the current political instability in Thailand and its relationship with Cambodia? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. That's all for this video, thank you.